Okay, good day everyone. My name is Alana Jean Alvarida and I'm going to present to you the primary and secondary difference. First, we have to know and discuss the introduction about Mr. Edwin M. Lemire, who is a main proponent for the concept of primary and secondary deviance. He was a sociologist and an anthropologist, and he was write a book about the juvenile court system, and he acquired his bachelor's degree in sociology from Miami University and his doctorate from Ohio State University. He distinctly specialized in sociology and anthropology. With the collaboration of George Herbert Mead, who also wrote a book about the mind, self, and society. He was an American sociologist and a psychologist. One of Mead's most understanding um, contributes to the development of critical social theory is the analysis of games. And Mead elucidates the full social and psychological significance of games playing and the extent to which the game function an instrument of social control. And also we have an American sociologist who is also has made a major contribution to the sociology of deviance, which is Mr. Howard S. Becker. And he also wrote a book about the outsider studies in the sociology of deviance. Oh my God. And also, Edwin Lemert um, wrote a um, wrote a book um, titled Social Pathology. It is about the system approach to the theory of sociopathic behavior. And primary and secondary deviance is introduced in this book, which is published in 1951. Okay, what is deviance? So, um, we often didn't know what is exactly the deviance, but according to this picture, hello, I am what you labeled me. It is about simply as judgment or labeling. But in sociology, deviance described as an action or behavior that violate a social norms, including a formally enacted rule, as well as a formal violation of social norms. So, um, specifically, deviance is described an action or behavior of an individual that surrounds in a community. And when we say social norms, it is the unwritten rules which the individuals break it, and it is included also a formally enacted rule and the formal violation of social norms. I have here a two-person, which is Emil Durkheim and Robert Merton, which explain literally the deviance, the meaning of deviance. First is we have Mr. Emil Durkheim. He explained that deviance is an inevitable part of a society. When we say an inevitable part, it is the situation unavoidable or an unexpected, and it is much expected what happened in the society. So it I mean inevitable, it is a situation not avoidable or yung hindi maiiwasan. And ipinaliwanag na dito na um, how society work is um, how society work is inevitable. So it is also expected what happened in the society. Meaning to say, when it is unavoidable, we must expect it because it is the unwritten rule that happening in our society. And for Mr. Robert Merton, he explained that deviance is a basis for innovation and explains that people engage in such act may be because of the state of anomy. When we say state of anomy in sociology, it describes as a breakdown of moral values, standards, or even the guidance. So specifically, it is the social stability because of the lack of social ethics. Because of Robert Merton um, described and explained this as a lack of ignorance. That's why deviants are here in our society or in our community. So deviance and crime are both um, happening in the society or in our community, but they have also have differences. And deviance, it is the violation of social norms and standards. So again, when we say social norms, it is the unwritten rule of behavior that acceptable in a group, and it is not punishable by law. Why does it call it is not punishable by law? Because it is not written in a documented paper, and not it's not on the presidential decree, not on a republic act, or even on a bill of rights. And one of the example here is the marrying underage. Mama, yung bunga mo, ma. Or prostitution. And yung crime is um, it is violation of governmental criminal laws, or it is a governmental issues that are happening in our community, and it is punishable by law because it is written in a documented paper, and it includes in the Republic Act, Presidential Decree, or in the Bill of Rights. And one of the example here is the very familiar to us, which is the murder, robbery, and rape. So I have here a primary deviance, which captioned with a picture that you're a bad person, and this it describes as primary deviance is a social reaction. So meaning to say, social reaction, it is the way how community describe you or consider you as a person, and it is caused by many factors like ignorance, or also the influence of peers or parents, and it involves relatively small rule breaking, or yung sinasabi natin na labeling or judgment sa for the individual. And secondary deviance, I have here a picture that describes her own self as a bad person because of a social reaction. Secondary deviance is a caused by a negative social reaction. It is how the society describe you and dictates you, and you will accept that that and you will accept that how the society labeled you, and it is usually involves crimes. Um, let's example the self-defense. You are willing to defend yourself by a situation, and no one knows what happened, and you commit a crime because of defending yourself, and the other people who aren't know the situation, they will react on what you do, and they will consider you as a deviant, or you will consider yourself as a bad person because the society dictates who you are without with their ignorance or without their knowledge what is really happened. So I have here our primary deviance and secondary deviance other definition. Um, Primary deviance is an initial act where it is currently happening in our society. And it refers to the differentiation, which is relatively insignificant. When we say insignificance, it is unimportant or not needed in our society. And when we say fleeting, last it is an event lasts for a very short time, which is primary deviance described as a temporary event in our society and not permanent. Um, we have secondary deviance. It is only occurs when person is cuffed and labeled. So so um, when we said kanina na it is caused by a social reaction. Because of a social reaction, it will make as a continued defiance. Yes, and um, it is also the mechanism by which marginal deviance, casual rule breaking becomes more central depends upon labeling on the societal reaction. When we say marginal deviance, it is the correspondence reaction between the behavior and feelings, and it makes and the society depends on that kind and labeled on the societal reaction. They depend on how the society react of on one person. That's why meron tayong secondary deviance. They are um, they are corresponding in a behavior or and feelings of an individual, so they can consider it as a bad person. So primary deviance, na I have here an example, which is her mother saw her eating the bar and was shocked. She asked Susan if she had taken it from the store, and she admitted she did. Her mother brought her back to the store to confess and never took anything from a store again. Um, so this incident is um, serves or known as a primary defense because Susan taking a candy bar without a permission. So why does it call a primary deviance? So Susan is just a child, and it considered as primary deviance because um, we said kanina na um, it is just a social reaction to an individual. And sabi kanina, it is caused by the ignorance. So, um, 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 Susan is just a child, so she needs guidance and proper moral values to know what is right and good. Somehow, it is called as primary deviance because um, it breaks a small rule, and which is na kumuha siya ng bagay na hindi sa kanya without knowing what is good or right na and si Susan ay kailangan niya ng proper guidance to know what is wrong or right. So basically, it is considered as primary deviance. So I have here a secondary deviance. So suppose Tracy is a 9-year-old who wants an Iron Man figure that her mother refuses to buy. When Tracy gets to school the next day, she sees one of her friends pull out the toy she wants. At the end of the day, Tracy steals the toy and takes it home. So to make the story short, dahil kinuha si Tracy, the other parents also refused to invite Tracy to any birthday parties or playdates, fearing that she will steal from them because of their reaction. So Tracy begins to identify herself as a deviant and steal more items and starts stealing more valuable things such as clothing, jewelry, and others. And she starts to hang out with other people who steal, and they develop their own street gang. Because of a primary deviance that that reacts on an individual, um, Tracy become a deviant because of a social reaction with um without knowing what is totally happening, or maybe the other parents is um is um um lack of lack of knowledge, and the ignorance till the childhood of Tracy. And um um so secondary, it is called as a secondary deviance because it involves a crime. So Tracy considers herself as a deviant because the society reacts and labeled her because of a one single mistake. So we are all the same even if we look different, even if we did wrong, and we are all the same even if we wear different clothes. We are all the same even if we listen to different things. So we must stop labeling, especially to the kids, and become a critical thinker to label someone. Become a critical thinker to not label someone by their uh, bad doings and um, the things they do, which is they usually some need of moral values and guidance to know what is wrong and right.